The Kansas City Chiefs dominated the All-Pro selections, and they handed a couple of really nice players to the Oakland Raiders to close out the season. I'm going to have that in the film room coming at you right now. Welcome back to RGR. I'm Ryan. This is me going rogue, and it's nice to see you again. Thank you all for checking it out. It's been a little bit of time. I'm back in the home studio, going through film and doing the normal process at this point. A lot to talk about. In fact, I think I'm going to break it up. We're going to do part of the film room today on offense. We'll take another peek at defense early next week since we don't have a Chiefs game to look at. And I'll talk about some of the matchups once we know who they're going to play as well. If you're new around here, hit that subscription button, the notification bell, as well as leave me a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing, and drop your comment in the group below. A lot of things happened, but first and foremost, the Chiefs got a lot of selections into the All-Pro team this year. 6 total selections with 5 different guys, and I'll explain that in a minute. But a couple of guys very, very deserving. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes has had such a season that it's hard to deny that he should be that All-Pro. The 50-touchdown, 5,000-yard mark is really undeniable at that point. The competition for MVP with Drew Brees has fallen by the wayside. I expect him to be the MVP as well, but that really puts him in position to be the All-Pro quarterback, and that's what happened. And in order to get there, he had to have some help. And that came in the form of Mitch Schwartz, who had his best season, and this is his first career selection to the All-Pro team. For a guy who's played very, very well his entire career, hasn't missed a snap yet. Going to keep that truck rolling. But it's nice to see him finally get recognized, especially with the Pro Bowl snub and everything else. But those two kind of go hand to hand. And what they do is allow to set up that passing game that got to 2 of their other All-Pro selections in Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Now, Hill's kind of the question mark. He was selected as the flex position. A guy that is more of a utility player, doesn't necessarily wind up at wide receiver every snap. Those were some players that we're not going to talk about them, but the flex spot is specific for Hill. But he also got in that wide receiver group as the second team. And so he got 2 All-Pro selections at different positions. Great year for Hill. Obviously, he's been the spark plug that's running this particular offense with the delivery from Mahomes being very, very special. And the flow that goes through the center of the field is Travis Kelce. And I think what we've seen finally is with everything, as we've seen the careers kind of change for Gronkowski and Kelce, we've seen him take over the top spot in the NFL for his position. And that was confirmed with his selection to the All-Pro team. Something he's done before, but again, very, very critical. Barely got beat out for that record for yardage for tight ends, but very deserving of that All-Pro selection. Really put the cap on the offense. But one guy from the defense made it too, and his streak of sacks is what got him there. Chris Jones ended up a second-team selection, but for a guy on a rookie contract, 3 years removed, it's a great sign to see that you still have a building block that can help you move this defense forward, not only this postseason, but something to build on come next season as well. So congratulations to those guys. Well deserved, and I think this team can build around those building blocks, certainly with Jones and Mahomes. Hill is going to be interesting. Jones is going to be interesting in the contract selections. Travis Kelce, look for him to put up another All-Pro season next season. As he gets in that spot where he's arguably the best player in his position going forward and really can't be argued with too much anymore. Now we're going to talk about the film room aspect right now. Not a whole lot. I was at this game and watched it live and had a lot of takeaways. A lot on defense. We're going to talk about that next time. I'm splitting this up, keeping these videos short while we're on this bye week. But what we saw on offense is one that took advantage of a Raiders team that was outmatched. These Chiefs on their offensive side of the ball are just too dominant for the Raiders to keep up with. They did a couple of nice things, particularly early, but their flaws showed through as well, something that I've talked about quite a bit, but we'll look forward to that. First and foremost is a play where very early in the game, the Raiders wanted to bring some pressure. They filled a box. We're going to go through that film here. Really nice catch and a motivational thing for Anthony Sherman to come up with a play, keep his assignment under control, get out in the flat, and actually make some yardage after the catch. that turned out to be a critical play to get them rolling. Let's go through that one here.
Chiefs shift out of split backs, bring everybody up to the line with that Kendrick West and Anthony Sherman. There's a stacked box they're looking at. Arden Key actually comes through and gets pressure on Mahomes, who dumps it off to Sherman. Sherman turns around and picks up a nice gain there to get the first down, keep this first drive rolling. This was key. And what we see here, you can see is we're going to take a second and stop it, and there's a guy in every gap. You have outside of Schwartz, you have B gap, A gap, A gap, B gap, and then Arden Key out here side. Sherman shifts out, chips the safety that was blitzing off of the slot, makes that catch, a little stiff arm, keeps trucking, makes a big play.
To get started off on that kind of foot really helps, and I think that was key, moving that team forward. Another one was that when you have a defense that you can take advantage of and they make mistakes, it makes things that much easier. What we saw on this long touchdown was that taking advantage of what the defense gave you in terms of its mistakes. Again, Karl Joseph makes a very, very bad decision in this particular play. I told you before, when he's playing deep or his responsibilities are deep, he doesn't play that well. Look for that to go forward. I don't see it changing anytime soon, unless Gruden changes the personnel on his staff. But that's a whole other topic for a whole other off-season discussion. Let's take a look at that play right here.
Chiefs come out and empty with Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill up to the upper side, with Karl Joseph being a single high safety for the cover one the Raiders are running. He is going to key in on Kelce, and when he cuts in here, he bites up, leaving Tyreek Hill free to beat his man deep. Hill beats him off the stutter, and once he's gone, there's a little contact, but really no chance to stop him, especially with Karl Joseph out of position so badly. Here you'll see Joseph watching Mahomes, and even though he's looking at Tyreek Hill, Joseph bites up despite Kelce already being covered. It just leaves Hill open with no safety protection down the middle. Easy touchdown.
Despite a whole lot of effort from the rest of the offense, a lot of chug plays. Damian Williams, I think, has solidified his role as the starting back. We'll see what happens the first round of the playoffs, but I expect him to be the starter, whether Spencer Ware is healthy or not. We'll have more of that once they start practicing next week, so look for that as an update. I am going to do a live post-game on Sunday night, like we normally would if the Chiefs were playing, but we'll go over what had happened in the playoffs, especially if we know who the Chiefs are going to play. So look for that. Going to do the defensive game film, should be out here early next week as well, so look for that coming at you soon. Very excited to be back in the studio to be able to pull this film for you. Appreciate all of your words when I was out at Arrowhead and with my family. Thank you for being kind to them. Got some things in the works, some new things. Going to have a sponsor for the channel here pretty soon. So keep all that as an eye out. I have plenty more coming for you. Check out some of these videos from the last week about that Raiders win, and I'll have more film room for you next time. Thanks for watching me today.